if you're a 14 and a half point favorite and you win by 5, that's called underperforming. And
Mm-hmm.
Oregon, again, good win against Maryland, but Maryland, and you didn't house them. You just beat them. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams. And on today's Throwdown Thursday edition, it is week 11 of the college football season, and they're talking about separation. We'll see what happens. In segment one, we'll go through Power Four. Segment two, we'll talk about Group of Five. One of you will make it, not two. And in segment three, we'll talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. And I was somewhat entertained, but a couple of teams let me down. Let's jump into it with the SEC. Good wins by Ole Miss. Can't take that away from them. Texas, South Carolina, Alabama, and Missouri. No real lackluster performances, but bad losses by Georgia and LSU. And hey, guys, I'm just going to be honest with you on this show, as we always are. Texas, Tennessee, and Texas A&M all have one loss. Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri have two losses. So as a result of that, your feelings and your favorites might get hurt a little bit. With me today, Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, thoughts on the SEC, sir? What are you thinking?
Oh, I mean, you said it the best way, Coach. I'll add that you can't send a 3 paragraph letter to people's support of the coach and then you lose 49-17. That's just you can't do that. It got to a point where the announcers were saying they were like, well, this might be the first time that Florida hasn't scored in like 20 years or something saying like that. But I don't know why they would put out that notice. It's a shame. I feel bad for myself as Florida Gator fans. You don't see a really path to winning right now, and it's a shame. I wouldn't even have sent that notice. I wouldn't have sent nothing. Nobody. At the end of the season, everybody expected him to be fired, and no matter who they bring in, he can't be the coach next year. So they really messed up big time with that, and we'll see where they go. But everything else, out of working.
Yeah. And in segment three, we will really break down in terms of the college football playoffs and our predictions. But yeah, let's jump to the Big Ten. Good wins by Ohio State. UCLA and their coach who had a horrible opening press conference, and EB has got to be kicking himself because the Kansas City Chiefs keep winning without him. And so do the Commanders. Maybe it was you. I don't know. Penn State
Right.
with a win, and Rutgers. Lackluster performances by Indiana and Oregon. Will, the reason why I say it was a lackluster performance by Indiana is now that you're ranked, you get treated different. And if you're a 14 and a half point favorite and you win by 5, that's called underperforming. And
Mm-hmm.
Oregon, again, good win against Maryland, but Maryland, and you didn't house them. You just beat them. So bad losses by Minnesota and Iowa. And looking at the Big Ten, Will, we've got Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana. That's it. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
only one champion. And I don't know if the Big Ten's going to get three. What are you thinking about the Big Ten this week?
I think you said it correct again, Coach. I think Ohio State is in my opinion, if we're looking at, when you're ranked and you're looking at where you're ranked and how value rank, Ohio State should be number one. Ohio State should be number one because if I look at Oregon, who plays Maryland, and they gave up 18 points, and then I look at a team like Purdue, and they got stomped 45-0, and we're talking about, you know, if we're trying to determine who's going to be the best country or who's the best team in the country, and we can pick, and choose what. Ohio State was the better team this year and the better this week, and the number one team in my opinion. No shame to Oregon. I mean, they'll drop down to. I mean, they're undefeated and they lost, so it won't happen. But in my opinion, the best team right now is Ohio State. They're playing the best. I think Oregon kind of peaked, and they're kind of seeing that downtrend. But I agree with everything else. And Indiana. I mean, you can't lose. You can't win by 5 at home in a game like that. Is a
Mhm.
statement game. That's a game where you have to win by 30. You have to have the freshman quarterback in. You have to have the trainer who's been on here 5 years and never got a snap. Those are the games you're supposed to embarrass Michigan, and you didn't. And that caused pause for a lot of coaches. Are like, okay, Indiana maybe not ready for the big time yet.
All right. So Big 12, good wins by Colorado, Kansas, West Virginia, Arizona State, and TCU. Lackluster performance by BYU, but hey, Mr. AD from Utah, please don't do that again. And bad loss by Iowa State. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Again, BYU and Colorado have the inside track to make it to the Big 12 championship, but BYU's not very good. But they've beaten all the teams in front of them, and Colorado definitely has flaws. But hey, that's why I picked against them at the beginning of the year, because they're just like teetering, and they've won more than they've lost. And then Iowa State and Kansas State go out and lay eggs, and Arizona State and West Virginia both have 2 losses. They're just sitting there. But again, BYU and Colorado controls its own fate. Will, what are you thinking about the Big 12 this week?
Oh man, I mean, Colorado really surprised me. I was watching the game. They were the better team. They were the better team. They were sacking Texas Tech, causing turnovers, scoring. I just want to say before we go into the further more the session two that where we talk about, remember Deion Sanders was the worst FBS coach. That's what they ranked him in CBS Sport. They said he was the worst, and they are eating so much crow right now because
Yes.
because Deion normally talks a lot. We haven't seen or heard a lot of him this year. He hasn't really been promoting himself. And look at me, look at my team. He's not doing that. He is coaching quietly. His team believes in him. The players believe in the scheme and his defense. And Warren Sapp has made a huge change from last year. They're getting a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. So I hope that CBS Sports puts out a apology how they did with Deion, because I really didn't see I didn't really have a reason to even make him last. I mean, look at some of these bums. I mean, look at these bums. Look at Billy Napier. Look at
Yeah.
Mike Norvell. Like, look at all these bums who ain't doing nothing. And y'all gonna say Deion is the worst one? And so, I hope they're all eating crow. And
And our evaluation was a football based evaluation. Didn't think the line was good enough. And if you don't have time for your skill players to get down the field and so forth, that's going to be an issue. They addressed those issues better than I gave them credit for. So I don't mind. And we've said it all year. Hey, look, I hope I'm wrong on this one, because the BCA thing is real. So, all
mhm.
right. ACC. Good wins by Georgia Tech and Clemson, Boston College, Duke, California, Virginia. My goodness. Bad loss by Miami. You blew it, kid.
Mhm.
You've been teetering all year. You barely beaten Cal and need miracle. So we'll talk about that. Syracuse, Florida State, and Pittsburgh. You lost, man. So we've got Miami, SMU, and Clemson. Those are the 3 that look to be in the championship game. 2 out of those 3. What are you thinking about the ACC, sir?
When are they gonna fire Florida State coach? When are they gonna fire Mike? Was it Mike Norvell? Or I think that's his
He
name.
was undefeated last year and lost his best player, and now you want to you want to fire somebody after being coach of the year?
Uh, yeah, it happens. It
Damn,
happens.
yes, it does happen,
It
sir.
happens.
Yes, it
It
does.
happens. It happens. What's his name? Coach Friesian at Maryland. Remember, he was coach of the year and then lost his job. It happens. It happens.
Yes,
But
yes, I do
but it's
know.
not about. It's not about. It's not about. It's not about. Loses, wins and losses. It's how you lose. At some point, you still are Florida State. You still have Florida State athletes. You still have Florida State money. You still have Florida State coaches. Losing 52-3 is unheard of. Now, I get it. Even if you lost, cool. Notre Dame is a good team, but you don't lose 52-3. it's just bad. It looks bad. You know, they'll probably bring him back. Why not? Why not?
Again, do you have money to pay a buyout, or do you want to use that money
Oh yeah, Florida
for
State got money.
NIL? So
Florida State got money. I think Florida State. I mean, well, it's interesting. Do you give him money for a new coach or money to get out of the ACC? You can't pay for both.
can't pay for
So
both. I think he comes back myself. I think he
yeah,
comes back.
try and get to a different conference.
Now the team is SMU because they were on a bye this week, and now they can drive all the way to the ACC championship game. And I don't think the ACC gets more than two. I don't think so, and they might only get one if Miami makes it to the championship and loses. So we'll see
Hmm.
how that works out, and we'll flush that out in segment 3. Finally, shout out to our good friend Jake Sharler, Notre Dame doing the thing. They're ranked 10th in the country. They should move up. And to quote the legendary Al Davis, just win, baby. If they win out, they're in. Clean as a whistle. And Army gets them another top 25 victory. Sorry, George. Army is still in the top 25 and they won, and they're going to move up. So that's going to help. Thoughts on Notre Dame, my friend?
Shout out to Marcus Freeman. He had a lot of skepticism when he came to Notre Dame. He didn't jump in there and make a huge splash, but progressively they've been getting better. You know, progressively getting better. And man, that kid has a bright future. He's 38 years old. His team is top 10 right now. They're making money hand over fist. No issues there. They're getting players. Man, you know, that's great for him. That's great for the brother, man. Especially a young brother like that. To fight through, you know, all the nonsense and get to where you need where Notre Dame is now. I assume that if they keep playing, they're gonna they'll make the playoffs.
They should make the
Um,
playoffs if they win out. It will be hard to keep them out because they're ranked 10 and they're going
yeah,
to move up because teams in front of them lost. So again, just win, baby, and you should be fine.
yep, just win, baby, win.
All right. So, fans, when we get back in segment 2, we will talk about the group of 5 conferences. And you know, Boise's going to be in there, but it ain't going to be easy for him. We'll chop that up when we get back on the Our Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful antidotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Our Coaches Podcast in segment 2. Let's go group of 5. The American. Good wins by Army, Navy, Tulane, ECU, and Memphis. No real bad losses. But we're looking at Army, Tulane, and Navy to be in the championship of the American. Tulane is still undefeated, and Army is still undefeated in the American with Navy hanging out there. Any thoughts about the American?
I like it, man. I like expanding the playoff. You have some different teams that are having some chances to the playoff. Just makes it better for us college football fans, man. Just more parity. So let's keep winning. Service schools.
Yeah, the funny thing with that is Army could play in the American Championship game, and then the next week play Navy, and that game will just be for fun.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
everything will be taken care of. Tulane is the class of that conference, though. So although Army's ranked, Tulane
yeah.
is the one. All right, Mountain West, Pac-2, good wins by Boise State. New Mexico, man, y'all make me look like trash because your over/under was 1.5, and you might be bowl eligible. Washington State, you kind of feel bad for Washington State because they got one loss and they're in the top 25, but I don't know how that's going to work out with them. San Jose State, UNLV keeps winning. I don't even remember the dude's name. So hey,
I had to
well
I had to
done,
look it up. I just
well
had to
done,
look it up.
guy. Whoever's giving you advice, hey, great job, idiot.
Yeah.
And Air Force got a win. Bad loss by Oregon State and Fresno State. Um, Boise State should make it to the championship game where they'll either play Colorado State or UNLV without the quarterback who went 3-0. And now I want my money. Okay. So I'm really like rooting for UNLV to make it to the championship. Any
Yeah.
thoughts on the Mountain West? And yes, I do feel bad for Washington State because y'all got a pretty good team and you're ranked.
Oh, you said it right, Coach. Matthew Sluka.
How could he?
If you ever remember his name, just remember he quit on his team and his team kept rolling. So how important are you? How important are you? So I think it looked like they made a decision by not paying that brother because they put that money somewhere else. And I
Oh
think
man.
they also lost their running back. I remember he was also like, I'm not playing because of money. And they still overcame, man. I mean, that speaks to culture, that speaks to good coaching, that speaks to, you're always gonna have bad eggs, but for the most part, if you put a good around a good student athletes, a bunch of guys who are leaders, and you're not just bringing in, transfer portal guys, you're bringing culture guys, and you're bringing those guys, you'll be fine. You have a good program. They're doing well. And man, who is advising that young man needs to be fired.
He did not. He did not seek counsel from the CK Save Project.
Yeah,
All
that's where he messed.
right. Conference USA, good wins. Now you want to win Liberty, Jacksonville State, and Western Kentucky. So it looks like Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, and Sam Houston are the top three right now, and two of those three will play for their championships. But they're playing for bowls right now. Any thoughts on Conference USA? And it's okay if you don't have it.
Nothing. I'm looking at it. They had a really good game. UTEP versus Kennesaw State. There was an overtime game. Jackson State had another overtime game. So these guys are still playing. They're still playing hard. They're still. I know it's November. The season is ending. But they're still playing hard. But they're nothing I really did see here.
I got a friend who got a master's degree from Kennesaw State. So there you go.
Nice.
All right. Sun Belt, good wins by Coastal Carolina, Texas State. Again, now you want to win. Marshall, JMU, and Louisiana. It looks like Louisiana, Marshall, and Georgia Southern will be competing for their Sun Belt championship. And again, they're playing for bowls. I think it's Louisiana's to lose. Any thoughts, sir?
I'm just so disappointed in James Madison. They should be in this mix talking about they're going to be in the playoff, and they're doing great, and then two losses put them out, man.
Two losses in conference.
Yeah,
so you beat the out of conference teams. You hung whatever on North Carolina, but you can't beat, Wachovia State, home conference, or whoever.
Yeah.
All right. Little Maction. Bowling Green, good win. Miami of Ohio, and Northern Illinois. Bad loss by Western Michigan, but that's strictly for entertainment purposes only. So it looks like Miami of Ohio, Western Michigan, Ohio, and Bowling Green. Those will be the four competing for the MAC championship, and they are playing for bowls. Any thoughts on Maction this past week?
Great win by the state of Ohio. Ohio Bobcats 41-0, Ohio State 45-0 versus Purdue. I mean, you can't be too upset in that area. Everything else pretty standard. Oh, and Miami, Ohio, they got to win too. So good time to be in Ohio.
And we'll close as always with HBCUs. Good win by Tennessee State. I hope you guys make the postseason. Morgan State is in line for MEAC championship opportunity. South Carolina State, Alabama A&M, Grambling. Southern won in 5 overtimes. Prairie View A&M, Jackson State seems to be the class of the SWAC East, I believe, or West. I don't know how they do that. I know it's split. And Alcorn State, bad losses by Hampton and A&T, and I harp on them because they chose to leave. And how's that working out? Alabama State with a bad loss, and FAMU, y'all can't be losing. So again, looking at the MEAC, we're looking at South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, and Morgan as the representative for the Celebration Bowl, going against Jackson State and either Southern or Alcorn State, because the SWAC has enough teams to have a SWAC championship and then something. I don't think the MEAC has a championship game with the 5 teams that are in the MEAC. So again, good luck to Tennessee State. I hope you guys make the FCS playoffs. Will, any thoughts before we wrap up?
What are they doing in Delaware State? What are they doing with Delaware State? Delaware State in 2007 was one of the top 5 best HBCU college football teams ever. Ever. I may be biased because I have friends who played on that team, but there's other who rank them as one of the best teams ever. And you can't just fall like that. Not 1-9. I mean, you can't get. I mean, it's just sad. It's just really sad, you know. And I understand on a microcosm of the understanding is I understand why Dion left. I totally understand why he left. These schools don't care about football. They don't care about sports. They don't care about putting money in the right way or putting athletes in the right position to win or coaches the right win. And it's just a shame, man, because my boy always is talking about Del State, always Del State, Del State, Del State, and they just get their butt kicked every week. It sucks. Same with
So,
Howard.
I yeah, that's bad. I have a soft spot and a hard spot for HBCUs because throughout my doctoral process, I didn't get any help from their athletic departments, and I had to go to PWIs, predominantly white institutions, to do my own research. But on the flip side, I graduated from Bowie State, and I know the power of investing in athletics. I was at Hood College for 8 years, and part of the reason why Hood grew is because of the investment in athletics. And it's just collectively, as a whole, mismanaged and doesn't have to be bad. It can be better, and hopefully, leadership throughout the HBCU circuit can continue to invest and make it better. But when we get back in segment 3, we'll talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today.
Good to be here.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast. And in segment 3, okay, here are the rankings that we have. So you can look at TV if you want to, but this is where you're going to get it. I got Texas as 1. I got Texas winning the SEC. I got Oregon winning the Big Ten. I got SMU winning the ACC. Miami's not that good. They haven't played well all year. They've just won games. I got BYU winning the Big 12. And I got Boise State being the Group of 5 member. But that's not going to be easy for Boise State. They're going to run that dude in the ground. So then next 7. Since Indiana would be in the Big Ten championship game, I have them in. Tennessee would play Texas for the Big Ten championship. I would have them in. And then Texas A&M currently is ranked higher than all of these schools. So again, I'm not anti-Georgia or anybody like that. I'm just looking at who's in front and would a 2-3 loss team that's an at-large make it. I'm not seeing it. I got Ohio State in from the Big Ten. And then it's like, okay, Clemson or Miami for the ACC. Clemson's playing better, so I'm going to go with Clemson as the next 7. Colorado is not going to be in, but they're in the next 7 right now. But if they lose the Big 12 championship game, ain't no way they're going to put Colorado in. So Colorado literally has to win or bust, and Notre Dame is the independent. Okay. And Notre Dame, if they win out, they're not going to keep a one-loss Notre Dame team out. So on the outside looking in, I got Miami, ACC. I got Ole Miss, SEC, K-State, Big 12, Penn State, Big 10. Sorry, Penn State, but I don't know how they're going to do the third team because you got Oregon, you got Ohio State, and you got Indiana. And if Indiana has one loss, nobody's going to care about Penn State as much as I'd like them to. And then Army and the American is the next best group of 5 team. All right, Will, I threw that at you. What are you thinking, man?
Exactly what it's supposed to be. I know Penn State was really, really upset that Michigan did not get that win because that would have put Penn State up over where they should have been. And now we're just getting back to teams that are they good enough? And now we're looking at teams with fans. How well do you drive? How well do you travel? I think we're going to get an amazing college football playoff. I think this is exactly what they wanted.
Until the games start, and then 5 through 12, it's going to be smoking. And exactly. I don't want to win the conference. Give me 5. Give me that bum team, and let me smoke them and get that extra money. Okay?
Yeah, that's good. But we'll be entertained. We'll be entertained.
We'll be entertained.
Strictly entertained.
Because I'm not betting on bowl games, but I'm putting money.
Really?
Because you don't know who's going to play. I mean, so many opt-outs are going to happen.
They're doing a good job now of telling us who's going to be in and who's out. We're not this, it's not like it was like a couple years ago when it's like, okay, Miami is going to beat, Morgan State, and then you find out a day, like, an hour before, like, 18 players are not playing. Cam Ford also sitting out. And
I'm getting ready for the draft. And remember, side note, the semester, whenever anybody talks about college football playing too many games, Will knows the semester ends about December 15th. And then you're not back in school until about January 27th. So ain't nobody doing nothing. So I don't want to hear about that. Okay.
They're not going to school. Once football season. All right, coach.
All I have to do is register for second semester classes. And then I just have to register, be on the roster. But anyway, that's too much information. All right, season-long bets. SEC, with Georgia's loss, they're done. So Missouri's the only team I have left in the SEC. The over-under is 9.5. They got 3 games left. They have to win outright. Good luck with that. Big Ten, Maryland's already lost. Oregon has 10 wins, so their next win will get me to the pay window. So go Oregon. I stuck with the Big 12. And again, Utah's AD, stop that. Don't do that. Don't talk about referees and cheating and no, just don't do that. That's bad. Bad AD. All right, ACC, NC State lost, but I got the SMU 8 wins. It's over under 8.5. So the next win takes me to the pay window. Independent, Notre Dame has to win out, and UMass has to keep losing. And I think they've got Liberty, Georgia, and somebody else and UConn or something like that. So I think I got a win there. The American totally overshot that one. Memphis has 2 games left. They got a chance to win. I did win with UAB because I got under 6.5, and I just don't like Trent Dilfer. And USF just had a stinky year, and Navy just beat you bad. Mountain West, Boise, over under is 9. They got 8 wins, 3 games left. Let's hook them up. And New Mexico, totally got that wrong. Conference USA, Liberty stinks. FIU has 3 wins with 3 games left, and they only need 4. So the next win gets me a push, and 2 wins gets me a win to the pay window. Sunbelt, Texas State stunk it up. And then Maction, Toledo, over 8.5. They got 6 wins right now, 3 games left. They've got a win. and Western Michigan's got 5 wins. They need 6.5, so 3 games left. Good luck with that, man. So weekly bets. I was 4-3 last week, 3-4 this week. Showcase game of the week. Will BYU -3.5. They barely got the win. My 2 play: Iowa State -2.5. Colorado -3.5. Iowa State let me down. 3 play: I am like 0 for 11 for the season on 3 plays in college. Georgia -2.5. Bama -2.5. South Carolina -3.5. Georgia was the one to let you down. And real quick about the Georgia quarterback, it's amazing how you can't play very well with no talent around you compared to the NFL prospects you had last year. So I don't know if it's you or them, but for the last few weeks, he hasn't looked very good. So Georgia might get another loss because I just been underwhelmed with him. My 4 play money line: UConn, Clemson, Army all won. Minnesota lost. Minnesota, come on, man. Y'all playing Rutgers. Come on, man. Over under. I followed Will's advice this year, and I am 10-1 with over unders. I have Florida, Texas over 48.5. And then my under game was UVA Pitt under 57.5. So, and then my upset was Duke over NC State because I'm done with NC State. Okay, I've been watching NC State all year, and Duke's got a high school compadres children at the school. So shout out to the Moore family. Will, did you do anything strictly for entertainment purposes only this week?
Just a little, just a little. Pittsburgh kind of let me down. I thought they were going to win. They were actually like a strong favorite. They lost pretty bad. Um, Obviously, Penn State took me up. Miami. I mean, that game should not have been as close as it should have been. I was playing for the over, and it just missed the under because they just were not. If they had the touchdown that they were supposed to get, it made it over, but it didn't. And Utah, man, I thought Utah was gonna surprise everybody. I thought Utah was gonna come
I
out
don't
there
even
and
know about
say,
that call. Was the call that bad enough that the AD had to say something? Because I hadn't talked to Robert yet.
I haven't seen it. Because I look at when you're looking at like rivalry games, you can't kind of look at it, the same. I was like, look, Utah has to be, if anything, Utah needs to be like, let's ruin BYU's season. Let's get the L. Let's play hard. We got our 8-year senior. He's gonna play. He ain't got no more. He's not going to NFL. He's not going to USFL. And not come on, let's go out and win. And then they lost, and it's just like, man.
I don't
But
like the Big 12. Please don't talk about the conference like that, Mr. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Week 12 games. Tennessee, Georgia. I was just in Nashville. Thank you for the hospitality and the high calories and the fat and delicious food in Nashville, Tennessee. And Tennessee thinks they could beat Georgia, and Tennessee just might be right. We've got Oregon, Wisconsin, Washington State, New Mexico, Texas, Arkansas. Will, Arkansas has been messing up a lot of stuff this year. All right,
mm,
Clemson, Pittsburgh, Utah, Colorado. Uh-oh. And Colorado's not that good that I can say that's a guaranteed win. Okay, I can't do that. Tulane against Navy, Virginia against Notre Dame. Virginia's coming off that upset of Pittsburgh. BC against SMU, Missouri, South Carolina, Boise State against San Jose State, Arizona State against Kansas State, and Kansas versus BYU. Any game of note next week that has your attention?
be careful. Oregon is going to Wisconsin, and I know what the temperatures are looking like. It's not going to feel like Portland. It's not going to be nice and warm in Oregon. It's going to be nice and cold. And you're traveling all the way west to the Midwest, and that's going to be a tough game for them. I think they're a tough team. They're not, and they're only a -10.5. I mean, it's not like a -25.5 or 3 touchdown spread. This is one of those games where you can lose and or not look as good as I thought you were. Georgia, Tennessee is going to be, that's going to be an
That's
interesting
the game of the
game.
week right there.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. We'll see what's going on. Does Kansas have another upset in them to beat BYU? I say no, but I challenge them if they watch the OCP podcast. They gotta. Can you do it?
Strange things happen.
Strange,
All right.
strange.
So on behalf of our captain for life, Will Cotton, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.